Radhe Radhe, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Apeksha Singh trying to be Arjun of Krishna. Today I am going to start with our macroeconomics series and the topic is money and banking. This chapter we are going to cover in a few parts. Since it's a very long chapter, so we are going to cover it in a few parts. So this is the first part. Now without wasting much of the time, let's start the topic. Money and banking. Since we all are aware of money, it is the most important concept in our modern economy. We cannot imagine our life without the concept of money. It is the foundation stone around which all the economic activities revolves. It is a most essential function of an economy. Before the invention of money, how the exchange of the goods and services used to take place. In the primitive worlds, the exchange of goods and services used to take place to the barter system. Barter system. What is barter system? The primitive world phrase which means exchange of goods for goods. So, in the beginning of civilizations, when the human needs were very simple and limited, that times the human needs can be satisfied with the exchange of goods and services. Now, so how does a barter exchange used to take place? Barter exchange refers to the exchange of goods for goods. And in economy, where there is a barter exchange, where there is a direct exchange of goods for goods and services, it is called as a barter economy or a CC economy. C stands for the commodity here. One thing now, for example, if there is a farmer and there is a weaver. Farmer, he produces wheat, and a weaver, he produces weeds, and a weaver, he produces cloth. Correct? So when they now want to exchange now they want to do a barter with this thing. So the farmer's desire for the clothes can only be exchanged with the weaver whose desires to get the wheat in exchange. Correct? So basically, when the farmer is going to exchange his wheat for the cloth from the weaver, then this is called as a barter exchange. However, one thing which you need to understand, barter exchange, it can exist only when there exists a double coincidence of wants. Barter system सिर्फ तभी वर्क करेगा अगर वहाँ डबल कोइंसिडेंस ऑफ वॉन्ट्स होंगी. टर्म से ही समझ आ रहा है, डबल मतलब दो लोग दो, कोइंसिडेंस ऑफ वॉन्ट्स मतलब उसकी वॉन्ट्स भी और उसकी वॉन्ट दोनों अगर कोइंसाइड कर जाएंगी, है ना. So double coincidence of wants मतलब क्या होता है? Which means simultaneous fulfillments of mutual bonds of both the buyers and sellers. For example, in the example of the farmer and weaver, if we say, farmer can exchange his wheat only with the weaver when he has a desire to get the cloth. When he has a desire to get the wheat. When a weaver has a desire to get the weeds. So the farmer desire for clothes must coincide with the weaver's desire for the wheat. You get it? मतलब उसकी डिजायर जो है क्लोथ की, वीवर की डिजायर क्लोथ के लिए और फार्मर की डिजायर. So now the farmer's desire for clothes must coincide with the weaver's desire for wheat. Understand? तो दोनों की डिजायर एक दूसरे से coincide होनी चाहिए. But such double coincidence is very rare to find in this world, in the modern economy. So it becomes very difficult. So this involves the search cost. So this involves a huge trading cost. Now the question is, what is trading cost? Trading cost refers to the cost of engaging in trade. जब ढूंढने में कि कहाँ पे, how they are going to coincide, they have to find out the person to whom they may enter into this barter deal to find out this thing. So this is a trading cost of engaging in a trade. जो भी cost लगेगी, it could be physical cost, it could be monetary, it could be energy, what physical efforts it requires. So trading cost is of two types. First is search cost and second is disutility of waiting. Now what is search cost? Search cost, it includes all the physical costs that the person has to incur to find out the person to whom he may enter into the barter deal. Correct? This is it. So basically when the farmer has to find out the person who is ready to exchange his wheat for the cloth. So all this time in searching of this thing, this required a lot of time, lot of energy and physical efforts. So this constitutes the search cost. It takes place in two forms. First, opportunity cost of time spent in search of a person. मतलब क्या हुआ इसका? इसका मतलब है उस दौरान जो उसको ढूंढने में वो दैट अप्रोप्रिएट पर्सन, वो अपॉर्चुनिटी का जो कॉस्ट है जो चली गई उसकी बात की, विच मीन्स सम अदर एक्टिविटी कुड हैव बीन परफॉर्म ड्यूरिंग दैट सेम टाइम, कुछ और किया जा सकता था, है ना. सो अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ टाइम स्पेंट इन दैट सर्चिंग द अप्रोप्रिएट पर्सन, सम अदर एक्टिविटी. नेक्स्ट इज disutility of waiting. What is disutility of waiting? It involves the discomfort. It involves a discomfort that involves in finding out the appropriate person to whom we may enter into barter deal. इसका मतलब जो भी difficulties, disutility, discomfort involve, जब तक आपको सही एक appropriate person नहीं मिल जाता जिसके साथ आप barter deal कर सको, उस चीज़ को भी हम ट्रेडिंग कॉस्ट में इन्वॉल्व करते हैं. सो बेसिकली ट्रेडिंग कॉस्ट में वी इन्वॉल्व दी सर्च कॉस्ट हैज द अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट ऑफ टाइम स्पेंट इन दैट थिंग, है ना. सम अदर एक्टिविटी कुड हैव बीन परफॉर्म, पहली चीज़ दिस कुड बी अ रीजन. दूसरी चीज़ कॉस्ट ऑफ डेटेरिएशन विच इज़ कॉस्ट टू द गुड, जो भी नुकसान उस गुड को होगा कि अगर उस दौरान इमेजिन अंटिल यू फाइंड अ करेक्ट पर्सन, जब तक आपको वो अप्रोप्रिएट पर्सन नहीं मिला तब तक उस गुड का क्या होगा, उसकी तो वैल्यू कम हो जाएगी ना. तो फिर उस सिचुएशन में दैट ऑल्सो इन्वॉल्व्स इन अ ट्रेडिंग कॉस्ट. दूसरी चीज़ समय जो गवा रहे हो, दैट इज ऑल्सो टाइम, एफर्ट्स, डिस्यूटिलिटी एंड ऑल द फिजिकल एनर्जी, फिजिकल एफर्ट्स दैट यू हैव बीन इन्वॉल्व. सो ये सारी चीज़ों को देखते हुए, डबल को इंसिडेंस ऑफ वॉन्ट्स एंड ऑल्सो सर्च कॉस्ट, ट्रेडिंग कॉस्ट को देखते हुए, डू यू थिंक बार्टर सिस्टम्स कैन सर्वाइव? Barter system survive कर पाएगा in the modern economy? No. So with the rise in economic activities, it becomes very difficult for the barter exchange to continue for a longer period of time. Hence, it has to be replaced with the monetary exchange. Now, before this, let us try to understand what are the limitations of the barter exchange. Yes, what are the limitations of the barter exchange? First, okay. So now we are going to understand the limitations of barter system. First limitation is, अभी मैंने बताया, that is lack of double coincidence of bonds. As I said, double मतलब दोनों की, buyer and sellers दोनों की जो want है वो coincide करनी चाहिए. जैसे मैंने अभी एग्जाम्पल में बताया wheat and weaver का, जो farmer और weaver का एग्जाम्पल है. farmer he wants a cloth and a weaver he wants a wheat. So दोनों की जो want है वो coincide कर जाए. That is to finding out that person, those wants become, their wants should be coincide. It's very difficult to find, है ना, वो मुश्किल है find out करना. So lack of double. So under the barter systems, it can work only when both the buyers and sellers are ready to exchange each other goods. So such coincidence is very rare to find. Second thing, we have the problem. Now the second limitation is lack of common measure of value. Lack of common measure of value मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब जो goods है, ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी आर टेकिंग दिस एग्जाम्पल ऑफ वीट, ठीक है. अब वहाँ वीट की वैल्यू और क्लोथ की वैल्यू, दोनों की जो वैल्यू है, एक्सचेंज रेशियोज आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, जो वैल्यू है वो अलग अलग नहीं है ना, अलग अलग है. सो इफ यू सी अंडर द बार्टर सिस्टम सिंस ऑल द कमोडिटीज आर नॉट ऑफ इक्वल वैल्यू, करेक्ट, द वैल्यू ऑफ क्लोथ एंड द वैल्यू ऑफ wheat is completely different. Since under the barter system, commodities are not of equal value. They do not have equal value. Why? It is because there is no common denomination. There is no common measures in which the exchange ratios could be expressed. Correct? So in this case, what, for example, if the one person, the farmer, he has a 1 kg of wheat and he want to exchange his 1 kg of wheat with the 1 kg of rice. How? If there is no, under a barter system where the money has not been invented, in such situation, how they are going to measure their exchange ratio? How they are going to exchange that 1 kg of wheat with the 1 kg of rice or with the 1 kg of cloth? The value is not there. There is no common denomination. So in such situation, the values, exchange ratios are randomly fixed, in which generally one party has to suffer. Now, so in the absence of a common denomination, when there is no common measure, there is no unit, there is no common measurement denomination in which the exchange ratio could be fixed. So in generally what happens, the exchange ratios are randomly fixed. Cloth की value और wheat की value randomly fixed कर दी जाएगी, है ना. So in which generally one party has to suffer. So which means barter exchange could survive only with few commodities in a primitive society, but in a modern economy it is not going to survive because there is a millions of exchange are taking place. So it is not possible to express them in their exchange ratios. Possibly नहीं है. Next is standard. There is a lack of standard of deferred payments. मतलब क्या है इसका? आप खुद सोचिए, deferred payments मतलब जिसकी पेमेंट आज नहीं फ्यूचर के लिए. फ्यूचर में हो सकती है. डू यू थिंक विद द गुड्स कमोडिटी के बेसिस से, क्योंकि बार्टर एक्सचेंज में देयर इज एक्सचेंज ऑफ गुड्स फॉर गुड्स, सिर्फ कमोडिटी के बेसिस पे आप आज नहीं फ्यूचर में पेमेंट कर सकते हो. मतलब है इन सिंपल टर्म्स कैन आई से दिस, क्रेडिट ट्रांजेक्शन कर सकते हो आप विद दी गुड्स के साथ. देयर मे बी अ लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स इन इट. क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है? सो ऑल दोज ट्रांजेक्शंस, यू नो, ट्रांजेक्शन विच इज ऑल दोज ट्रांजेक्शन विच इन्वॉल्व्स अ क्रेडिट, which involves the credit or in which the payments has to be made in a future, these are not possible through with the help of with the commodity. It is not possible. Why? First of all, the borrower, the first reason is borrower may not be able to arrange the good of exactly same quality at the time of repayment. पॉसिबल है, बोरो अरेंज ही नहीं कर पाएगा वो कमोडिटी जो उसको पेमेंट के रीपेमेंट के समय फ्यूचर में चाहिए होगी, है ना. पहला चीज तो ये हुआ. सेकंड इज नाउ द नेक्स्ट थिंग इज which specific commodity should be used for the repayment, है ना. कौन सी स्पेसिफिक कमोडिटी यूज की जाएगी रीपेमेंट करने के लिए इन फ्यूचर, ये प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है. एंड जो भी कमोडिटी विच इज यूज फॉर द रीपेमेंट इन अ फ्यूचर, इट मे लूज और गेन इट्स वैल्यू एट द टाइम ऑफ रिपेमेंट. ये पॉसिबल है ना कि जो भी कमोडिटी हो, ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि जो कमोडिटी हमने प्रॉमिस किया है कि हम फ्यूचर में पेमेंट करेंगे इस कमोडिटी के बेसिस पे, उसकी वैल्यू इंक्रीज हो सकती है ना, उसकी वैल्यू लूज हो सकती है. इट मे लूज और गेन इट्स वैल्यू एट द टाइम ऑफ रीपेमेंट. एक ये प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है. एक प्रॉब्लम और है, दैट इज द नेक्स्ट इज लैक ऑफ स्टोर ऑफ वैल्यू. डू यू थिंक, दिस इज अ वेरी बेसिक प्रॉब्लम, कि डू यू थिंक कि गुड्स को हम स्टोर करके रख सकते हैं. नाउ द नेक्स्ट प्रॉब्लम इज लैक ऑफ स्टोर ऑफ वैल्यू. डू यू थिंक हम गुड्स को स्टोर करके रख सकते हैं फॉर अ फ्यूचर यूज, एंड स्टोरिंग द गुड्स फॉर अ फ्यूचर इज पॉसिबल? No, it is not. If we are going to store the goods as wealth for a future use, it becomes very difficult. It is not possible, because first of all, it's durability, because the goods are very durable. क्योंकि goods बहुत durability की वजह से and their quality deteriorates with the passage of time. उनकी क्वालिटी भी तो खराब होती चली जाएगी. अगर हमने सोच 1 महीने बाद किसी उस चीज़ की पेमेंट करनी है, सो वो खराब हो जाएगी. एंड प्लस सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है देयर स्टोरेज रिक्वायर्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, एफर्ट्स एंड स्पेस, सो इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल टू डू इट. नेक्स्ट द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट, देयर सबसे बड़ी लिमिटेशन जो है वो थी, देयर इज वन मोर लिमिटेशन, दैट इज द लैक ऑफ डिविजिबिलिटी. ठीक है, देयर इज अ लैक ऑफ डिविजिबिलिटी, व्हिच मीन्स जस्ट इमेजिन इफ यू आर मेकिंग द पेमेंट विद द हेल्प ऑफ मनी, डू यू थिंक इट इज पॉसिबल टू परचेज एनी लैंड, एनी बिल्डिंग, एनी हाउस विद द हेल्प ऑफ अ कमोडिटी? Do you think it is possible? नहीं हो सकता था. So there is a lack of divisibility. For example, if I would say there is one horse and its value is equal to the 100 kg of wheat. Now the person who is having just 20 kg of wheat, how he is going to exchange that 20 kg of wheat with the exchange with horse, and in smaller values without destroying its utility? It is not possible. है ना, it is not possible. So which means the transaction, the exchange between the divisible and indivisible goods in small values is not possible without destroying its utility. Understand? So out of now, with so much difficulties or with so many limitations of the barter system, do you think in the modern economy barter exchange could survive? No, it cannot survive. It has to be exchanged with the money. It has to be exchanged with the money. The invention of money is very important, है ना. So इस situation में now we are coming to the concept of money. Before this, we need to understand the primary and the secondary functions of money. Though money can be stated in many forms, but a most defined definition when we try to explain in terms of functions. What are the functions of money? So do you think कि जो भी limitations होंगी barter की, उन limitations को पूरा करने के लिए ही जो भी functions money perform करेंगे वही उनके फंक्शंस बन जाएंगे. जो भी उनकी लिमिटेशंस को फुलफिल करने के लिए वॉट एवर द एक्शंस दे आर गोइंग टू परफॉर्म, इट इज बीइंग यूज्ड, इट बिकम्स द फंक्शंस ऑफ मनी. सो बेसिकली फंक्शंस ऑफ मनी, when we say, it is divided into two portions. First, the primary functions, and second is the secondary functions. Primary functions, it's a basic main functions. There are two functions. Now there are two functions of the primary functions. First function is medium of exchange, and second function is as a measure of value. So if you see, the medium of exchange is basically covering the limitation of the double coincidence of wants. दो लोगों की wants coincide सेम होनी चाहिए एक दूसरे के साथ, वो पॉसिबल नहीं है रियल वर्ल्ड में. उसको फुलफिल करने के लिए डोंट यू थिंक उन्होंने कहा कि मनी को हम लॉन्च कर देते, which can be used to make the payment for all the transactions. In detail we are going to discuss in the next part. ठीक है, मैं अभी सिर्फ फंक्शंस बता रही हूँ। पहला है मीडियम ऑफ एक्सचेंज, कि इफ यू आर यूजिंग इट मनी एज अ एक्सचेंज ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज देन बिकम्स इजी। सेकेंड इज मेजर ऑफ वैल्यू, अगर हम exchange ratios, which means 1 kg of wheat is equal to some about rupees 50, rupees 60, we can get this thing, right? If we are express them in our exchange ratio, it becomes easy. So second we have measure of value. Secondary functions भी दो होते हैं. First is standard of deferred payments, which means money can be used to make the payment for in the future, which means credit transactions are possible. करेक्ट. सो बैंकिंग जो सिस्टम चलता है वो क्रेडिट ट्रांजेक्शन से तो है ना. सो इट इज पॉसिबल बिकॉज ऑफ दिस फंक्शंस ऑफ मनी, दैट इज स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ डेफर्ड पेमेंट्स. एंड वन मोर फंक्शंस, दैट इज द स्टोर ऑफ वैल्यू, which means money can be stored as a wealth for the future use. There is one more functions which is a transfer of value and which allows the transfer of purchase of the land or building immovable properties. I hope and wo baki in detail concept hai function of money we are going to discuss in the next part. Radhe Radhe.